Can this Jiri beat Alex now? This video might be a slop video because I have so many pieces of information about Jiri. It's just a struggle to turn it into a chronological narrative piece. So if you are only tuning in for 30 seconds for some reason, here is a quick TLDR. Jiri has evolved, but he's still Jiri, okay? It's not that big of a transformation. So he knows to use head movement now, which is good, but that doesn't mean he wants to. He's still crazy. Quoted by him, not me.
From the last fight with Periera to work on the hands up a little bit, just a little bit.
A little bit.
Movement, head movement.
Head movement was excellent.
Everything.
Your head movement was excellent.
And the feeling with the hands up is another one with the hands down. Yeah, because this is your natural posture.
Right.
Sometimes it's not so smart to keep
Hands down.
Hands down.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but
I'm
at
crazy.
range.
I'm crazy enough to go through, to be in the moment, to stress my body so much in this situation, to see every movement, every start of the movement of my opponent, that I can react before he starts.
So let's dive way back to stage 1 Jiri. There are 4 stages of Jiri I found. Jiri's early pro career, Jiri in RIZIN, Jiri in the UFC, and the new Jiri after his second loss against Alex Periera. So let's make a small quick summary of Jiri's early pro career, his stage 1. This guy was doing no leg takedowns, back-to-back flying knees, and it basically all resulted in round 1 KOs. So he is more samurai than man even 15 years ago. I don't even know if bro is even a man. I don't even know if he's human. I swear he was born in the middle of the woods with a full-blown beard and started training his spinning elbows or something. So anyway, this early pro version of Jiri never had any form of competition. He never found any form of competitiveness. He did lose sometimes, but it wasn't a loss that made him want to evolve. It was just a loss, and it was just that the better man won. Jiri was still trying to find himself and was still finding his unorthodox style very reliable. And here comes Jiri's second stage, his RIZIN career. Of course, he was super successful in his first 2 fights in this, somewhat giant organization with crazy, brutal finishes. But then he met King Mo. He got destroyed with a 1-punch strike. Yes, he definitely died by the sword. Here is a clip of King Mo talking about that fight and how King Mo was scared. Yes, the man who KO'd Jiri, but he ended up being scared of the guy he just knocked out. Jiri comes in extremely confident, landing a number of high and low shots. Jiri showcases a bit of his wrestling prowess to scare Jiri doing some weird stuff, and also benefits extremely well from that because Jiri will get unnecessarily tired. Jiri gets hurt from the ground and pound and uses all of his power to get back up. Sadly, in saying that, he used up all of his power. Extremely tired Jiri just comes in chin up looking too reckless. Tragic KO loss, sadly. To be fair, walking like this with pressure always seemed to work for Jiri until now, so I can't blame him. But after this, Jiri will learn from this brutal KO in the future.
This kid, I remember when I knocked him out, I was like, stay down. Stay down, because when I knocked him out, I hit him everything I fucking had. He ran into my fucking right hand. And when he crumbled, I saw him. You can go back watch the video. He was still trying to get up. Wow. He was like this.
That way.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I don't want to see this kid again. I'm thinking to myself, I do not want to fight this kid again. I'm like, because he's something else.
Sure.
So I'm continuing to watch him. After I beat him, he goes on a fucking tear, smashing people. Because the way he is, he's like a straight samurai. He embraced Japanese culture to the fullest. He's all about everything he's doing right now is about fighting. It's geared towards him being the best fighter possible. Even just when you meet him, you talk to him, you realize hey, this guy has no life but fighting.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Yuri Prohaska.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the true second stage of Jiri was founded when he evolved from that KO loss. This is just an assumption, but he lost because of his cardio. He couldn't keep up with the pace he was dishing out, and he just walked into the pocket, not realizing King Mo still had crazy KO power. So in the rematch, Jiri got the last laugh because he evolved from that. So Jiri worked on his cardio, for the most part, meaning he still had a brain in the third round. Therefore, he has energy to do defense with a cognitive mind. Hands up or head movement or footwork, whatever. He isn't just walking into the pocket, chin up anymore. Jiri comes into the last round with so much cardio. He just blitz into his movements and punches. I don't know how he trains, but a normal human body isn't supposed to get faster in the last round. Mo is slowing down at the same rate Jiri is speeding up. Now every exchange Jiri is landing something clean. Jiri's style and feinting game finally paid off where he actually gets a rock in and finishes the fight. Mo just doesn't know where to block anymore because Jiri was hitting everywhere and finally fell down. Jiri got his revenge. After that, he went on a tear. His run to the UFC title was actually just as fast as Alex Pereira, if not faster. I can't remember the exact time, but it's pretty much the same, where it was just scheduling throughout the months that made it different. Jiri only did 2 fights to get the title shot, which is fair enough because, A, he was knocking dudes out cold, like cold, C-O-L-D, gigantic emphasis on that. And he was a former champion on a somewhat giant organization, RIZIN. And lastly, it's the light heavyweight division, post John Jones. So it's a pretty cursed division after that. The problem with Jiri is his pace. He is crazy to the point where he doesn't realize his pace is his own downfall sometimes. Sometimes though. Most of the time, when he pushes the pace, he's in the flow and he KOs his opponent cold. But if the opponent survives his 2-round long, high pace flow, then Jiri is kind of fucked. Like, Jiri had no oxygen in his brain, so no fight IQ to fight Glover. Sometimes. There were also moments where Glover did very silly fight IQ moments too, just to show that the pace of the fight in itself was insane. But Glover was going to win the fight via decision if it wasn't for that last minute Jiri submission. So with that fight, it almost felt like Jiri didn't need to evolve. Also, he was recovering from a giant shoulder injury, I believe, and his next opponent was to be Alex Pereira. And yes, he did not know anything about Alex Pereira. So Jiri was having quite a competitive fight with Alex in their first run. Jiri got some crazy good shots, and also Alex. It's just that delete button of a left hook Alex has that settles everything. The spirit of Jiri is insane. I used to say chin, okay? I used to say Jiri's chin was insane, but now I need to say spirit after scripting this video. There was that moment with the King Mo KO where he was still trying to get up. Any other man would have just laid there, dead. Jiri also got KO'd from his fight from Raze, but woke up again, I believe. And the first fight with Alex, he was out, but then woke up again. I'm not saying it was a bad call from the ref. He still should have stopped it, because although Jiri could have woken back up from that left hook and elbows, he would have woken up with Alex having top mount on him. So, that's just going to KO. That's just going to KO him again. So yeah, it wasn't an early stoppage or anything like that. So that whole controversy that, it was an early stoppage, despite Jiri going out because, he's been out in fights sometimes and recovered. But, I can tell that even if he was to recover after the elbows in the clinch or from the takedown attempt, he would have woken up to Alex Pereira elbowing him 12-6, freaking going ham on full mount, okay? And after that, it was an even worse performance in the rematch. Jiri got KO'd in round 2 as well. This is the first time Jiri tried to push the pace, but the opponent had a big fat no pushed across his face before he got into the flow. Okay, this is before the flow even happened now. So I think that pushed a big impact into Jiri's fighting style because it's just a matter of style, because Alex's stand-up game basically brutalizes Jiri's own stand-up fighting style, sadly. There's a lot of things, okay, I won't go too deep into it, but there is a lot of things Alex's style just overwrites Jiri's, okay? There's the calf kicks. It kind of deletes Jiri's, wide karate stance style. And also, it kind of discourages Jiri's flow of switching stances a lot because Jiri loves to switch stances, and not to mention the left hook. But then again, the left hook kind of deletes everyone, but, it worked on Jiri twice, so that's also bad. And not only that, Jiri's hands down style, which, got him knocked out because Jiri was still rocked from the first round in their second fight, and he tried to catch Jiri's high switch kick. He thought it was like a switch body kick, but it's actually a switch high kick, and the hands down kind of knocked him out. And what else? Alex Pereira's body jab. His body jab is kind of underrated, where Jiri's head movement kind of gets nullified, where Jiri wants to slip or duck Alex Pereira's jab or hook, but he ends up, dodging a... Alex ends up doing a body jab instead. So Jiri kind of ducks into a freaking body jab. That's the first time ever that's happened. So yeah, Alex's style kind of overwrites Jiri's. So now after that, after we've seen Jiri train in Bangtao Muay Thai, after we've seen him train in Brazil, I believe, after we see him just train in Okinawa, he's had time to really evolve himself. So with the recent UFC 311 card, let's analyze this truly evolved Jiri. Was he different? He faces Jamal Hill, and it was an amazing fight. First round, Jiri's footwork was the spotlight. He knew Jamal Hill's lead hook from southpaw is something he spams, so he goes into southpaw himself for a lunging straight. It works because Jamal Hill's lead hook and open stance is fast as fuck and can reach him first with good value of power because it's a hook. But Jiri sneakily goes into southpaw himself and realizes that his straight can reach him faster. Also, Jiri is just fast as fuck in general too, I just realized. And he did the exact same thing again in the later half of the first round that got the knockdown. I think evolved Jiri isn't just hands up Jiri. It's more like controlled pace Jiri. Jiri with enough oxygen in his brain to have some sort of fight IQ. Round 2 was a bit of a mess because it's the big eye poke round from both sides. One thing I noticed about Jiri is that he's still doing weird shit. Which is good. Obviously it's good. But maybe don't do that if you're gonna have a third fight with Alex Pereira. Like, a point blank spinning heel kick isn't something you should do in general, okay? Okay, and yeah. But anyway, Jiri did a beautiful 1-pull 2 combination right there, which really shows he's better in the base knowledge of fighting. He's got this traditional boxing, traditional fighting skills, statistic up in his, little RPG leveling up game he has in his brain. And with round 3, nothing too much to talk about but the KO finish there. Jiri pulled back and did a beautiful 2-3 combination. But people seem to ignore the footwork. Jiri's stance switching is beautiful. It almost looked like Jiri knew Hill was going to throw a 3 before any reads of it happening. He switched stance just in time to do a southpaw 2-3 that worked. Okay, remember all the other times he got Jamal Hill good in the first round? Those 2 good times? Yeah, he was in southpaw. So, Southpaw again for round 3 was kind of a good read for him. If he wasn't orthodox, it would have been a lot harder to do that 2-3 combination that he tried to do, especially to get the knockdown with that amount of power. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's a lot harder in orthodox. So let's recap all of the highlights of Jiri, especially in terms of boxing, for this Jamal Hill fight. First minute of round 1, he switched to southpaw and comes in with his 2. That clipped Jiri good. He does it again at the end of round 1, exactly the same, and it got the knockdown. He does the straight again in round 3, but he follows it up with the 3, aka southpaw lead hook, to get the knockdown. And yeah, do you see something? Do you see a pattern here? Yes, I'm not looking at Jiri. Okay, you need look at Jamal Hill. Yes, all of those movements were countering a hook. Hill's hook got stopped in the first round. If you look clearly, if my editing skills are good enough to screenshot, because I can't show freaking full-on footage or else this video will get taken down. You had all those instances was Jamal Hill throwing his hook, his lead hook.
In this situation, to see every movement, every start of the movement of my opponent, that I can react before he starts.
Yeah, so you can tell Jiri worked fucking hard to counter a lead hook. I wonder why. I wonder what fighter he's lost to 2 times that had the most devastating left hook in UFC history. Which also leads to my theory on how the third fight might go. Okay, we still need to confirm if there's ever going to be a third fight. I wish there is, for the sake of me being selfish, and I want a crazy fight between two chads of the UFC. But you know what? This is okay. I need to word this perfectly, or else people are going to misinterpret what I'm gonna say. This is more like how I see Jiri winning. If Jiri was going to win the third fight, okay, if he was going to win, I am going to predict how it's going to happen, okay? I'm going to predict the method of Jiri winning if he wins, okay? Okay, just to make that clear. Okay, so Jiri needs to negate the power of the leg kick still. It didn't happen against Jamal Hill because for some reason, Jamal Hill was actually a G in this fight. I respect him for it. He wanted to brawl with Jiri and decided not to leg kick spam, which might have won him the fight. But Alex is different. Okay, so for me, I want Jiri to wrestle in the first 2 rounds, okay? He actually had a very good strategy in the first round of their first fight when he knew nothing about Alex Pereira. He knew he was strong, but this was light heavyweight, and Jiri knew he had a chin. So that fake takedown to an uppercut was very good in their first fight in the first round, but Jiri didn't fully commit. There was a lot of times Jiri jabbed like twice, or he did straights to to Alex's face, but it didn't do any damage. It was more like a range finder, and just for the sake of pace, I believe. So yeah, I want Jiri to wrestle in the first 2 rounds, make Alex tired so his power is reduced. Kind of like what Jan did. Still powerful as fuck, okay? But enough for Jiri to be comfortable. Enough to make Jiri willing to trade with it. Make it not strong enough so that this crazy new Jiri will tank this power so he can enter the pocket or something. So he's more comfortable with this reduced power at the very least. And round 3 onwards, Jiri could be at the stage where he shines the most too. Okay, here's a very crazy statistic which may be arbitrary as fuck, but I'm gonna say it anyway. All the fights Jiri has been in that went longer than 2 rounds, he's won. He has a 100% win rate on fights that went beyond round 2. So Jiri's pace is dangerous that even sometimes he can't even keep up with. So do some crazy aggressive wrestling for the first 2 rounds to scare Alex Pereira. So that will reduce his power. Next, I'm trusting Jiri's new boxing skills of head movement and footwork to keep the fight competitive on the feet. Alex has improved boxing too, especially in the Khalil Roundtree and his training footage in South Korea, so that's going to be a problem for Jiri as well. But if Jiri has a higher pace, he will win. If Jiri doesn't get KO'd from a single punch, then he's good. Okay? Then he's good. Okay? If he feels like he's hurt in round 3, then wrestle again. Okay? Then go crazy for round 4 and 5. But that's obviously easier said than done. So my prediction will be Alex will be too tired to keep up with Jiri's autistic pace in round 5 or something, and he gets finished. That's what I predict. Okay? That's what I predict would happen if Jiri was to win the next fight. So make sure to subscribe for more autistic content.